hovering it for the minute. See whether this is where they decide to go. Still things like the Trundle available here for Vici, but Rek'Sai another option. As Dandy thinking about going back to what was
what I've always
a pretty
really
good option.
respected from Vici is that they have a really good grasp about where they're strong. Like some teams, they just have no idea. Like it just looks really confusing in draft phase, and they don't really tunnel on the key members for them.
Speaking of tunnel.
Yeah, but Coach Ohm behind Vici Gaming really understands. My carries are Easyhoon and Dandy, and I will facilitate them every single time. I know my bot lane is struggling right now, so I'm going to take a punch at OMG's bot lane and try to give them an easier route.
Well, OMG already locking in the Azir and the Bard. Of course, Icon's Azir was fantastic in the last game that we saw him on. However, a little bit of a mistaken ultimate towards the end did mean that OMG fell, but they fell fighting, which is definitely a good news story, as 5 is going to grab Bard. A really good denial pick from Caveman, honestly.
Icon is kind of like the Swift of mid lane.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he's going in no matter what. So you either follow him up and make him look brilliant, or he'll throw you the game in a single moment.
Oh, we'll see what Vici answer with here to augment this Rek'Sai pick. Gives them the opportunity to put Long on something a little bit more damage-oriented if they want to, but at the moment, having a look at the Echo.
I like the fact that you would just have kill pressure in a lane. I think especially when you have Dandy, and this is the kind of the cool thing is Dandy is a phenomenal Rek'Sai player, but for the longest time on Vici, Dandy would only play Graves, Kindred, and Nidalee. He could only play hard carries because the rest of Vici couldn't compensate for the fact that Dandy was playing more support style. With the pickup of Twitch on Xuan last series Vici played, it kind of unlocked this reassurance that Dandy can go back to the likes of Rek'Sai. So I want to continue to see the AD carry position and mid position step up and allow Dandy to show off his Rek'Sai.
Well, we'll see whether he can, as Trundle's going to be locked in. OMG already setting up a really scary team comp. This looks slightly reminiscent for Oscar, and so far, of a certain RNG comp that we saw in game number 1 today.
Yeah, just a little bit.
And by a little bit, she means those 4 picks were in that
exactly
team comp.
That exact team comp.
Caveman, though, is going to take away the Braum, so Ezreal Braum towards the bottom side. Scary stuff, but that is a Bard. Can deal with
That's
the
a
likes
lane
of
swap.
Braum. Feeling it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Easyhoon actually considering the Lissandra here. One of the characters that was highlighted. We did have a look at that cute little video earlier on.
It is a big power pick for Easyhoon. I particularly like it because, again, you're giving kill pressure through the mid lane, especially when she has level 6. But likewise, Lissandra runs double TP really well.
Yeah.
And unlocks Easyhoon to impact the surrounding map.
And is relatively safe against a highly ganking jungler in that of the Elites. Yeah, so it is going to be very similar to the first team comp of RNG. However, the switch of Lucian for Sivir, because of course Lucian is now sitting on the bench, but still looks very, very frightening. As Vici still have a lot of control in their team comp as well, even though it is a little bit more localized.
It's now a question of where... Okay, so again, I think that it will be a swap simply because taking Braum into Bard is difficult to say the least. Again, range support versus melee support. We already know that Endless and Caveman tend to struggle, though Caveman is a great Bard or a Braum player. I have an inkling.
Well, we'll see whether they actually do. Of course, Vici did like to play the map when they could, so it would make a heck of a lot of sense. However, do you know what I want to see?
What?
I want to see Caveman flash onto 5 at level 1. Get that
Winter's
concussive
blow
blows
into concussive blow.
Yeah, and just smack his face off, which we have seen a little bit. Of course, Bard, relatively squishy, utilizes his range a lot in these matchups. Can be sometimes exploited, especially with the level 1 potential of Endless on this Ezreal. But we'll see exactly what happens as the coaches are going to shake hands. Let's get into game number 1 of our second series of the night. Thank you very much, Dandy, and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Summoner's Rift. Vici taking to their side of the map. Here up and against OMG.
Pool Party Rek'Sai.
Ah, love it. Going to get all of those safety tubes everywhere. As you can see, Icon already in position here in the mid lane, pigeoning it up. Dandy and Zhuai Zhuai just going to face off, and we'll see exactly what is going to happen, as Long does have the Fury battle.
Icon just looking for another notch in his belt. He's taking down some pretty high priority Korean mid players.
This will definitely be a good notch on the old bedpost, as it were.
He entered the LPL quite explosively.
And
so I would love to see him kind of continue with his upward trend, especially for OMG to find success. A dynasty organization trying to rebuild their brand.
Yeah.
Going all in on domestic Chinese talent, refusing to import any slots. They're the only all-Chinese team left in the LPL. See if they can continue to achieve greatness as, hey look, a lane swap.
Yeah.
Wasn't initiated by Vici, though.
No, it looks like it was initiated by OMG.
Could have been trying to match it up blind. That said, we've also seen how well Sivir does in lane swaps, as to be expected with her wave control, as well as the fact that you have an Elise on the team. I always love Elise in tandem and Sivir when you go for that lane swap, because you're utilizing the steroid from the Spiderlings, as well as the Sivir wave control.
Could this be a Q play? Yes, it is. As there's the concussive blow. Xiang in a whole host of trouble. Has to use the flash, but there's the ignite. Another Mystic Shot will do it. The flash forward. Endless needs to hit it, and he does! Nails first blood. Almost dies, but that is definitely worth it. And Endless. What a play.
And that is the development that Vici have been waiting for from their AD carry. They keep saying that Endless is worth it.
Yeah.
And definitely showing up big there as meanwhile topside.
Yeah, Long actually taking a lot of harassment from 5, who's being very frustrating as they try and take down this blue buff. It's just a bard, guys. Surely this will be okay. Dandy is, of course, level 2. So they once again knock this thing up into the sky. Nice smite comes in. Dandy is going to be able to lock that one down. But already, great start here for Vici. And if there's one thing I love from this team, it's how creative they are in a lot of their level 1 strategies.
So again, you know that the enemy top laner is going to try to creep 3 minions from the initial wave. So by setting up in a very coy EDG-esque level 1, chunk him out quite well, including getting the first blood, which means that the initial back for Ezreal will be very powerful.
Certainly will. See whether he does decide to use it earlier, considering the fact that they're in a lane swap. Grab that tier, start it stacking. But OMG already on this turret. They've got a big wave as Endless has hit that level 2, and Long is going to make his way in, start helping out.
An issue is that as the initial creep wave came in, no one stood on the back of the tower to draw creep aggro like what you see OMG doing, which means that OMG are going to have a much larger wave and will be able to preserve more of it than Vici as we trade these initial towers.
Thankfully, however, Essence Flux was taken from Endless, so we'll be able to speed up the attack speed of his fellow tower takers.
But already you see SMLZ and 5 backing off and making sure that Xiang gets all of the bonus EXP, as well as a really nice wave bounce. And see, that's the difference between tanking aggro and making sure that your creeps are targeting the proper thing. It's only about 5 to 10 seconds, but it opens up space for ganks like this.
It certainly does, as EasyHoon may need to use the claw. It does so very short, actually. Makes sure he gets out of there. So, not going to fall to the pressure allowed by OMG. However, takes a heck of a lot of damage. May need to teleport back into this lane.
Definitely loses a lot of pressure there, so Icon in a very healthy situation. You can even see Zhuai Zhuai sitting off in the wings, looking for... Icon's checking to see where he's backing. Looking for a possible dive, but they're not going to find it. No.
Oh my
goodness.
EasyHoon,
is it worth it? The cannon creep. No!
Oh, there's the cocoon. EasyHoon's going to fall down. Repel's going to get Zhuai Zhuai to safety, and that was just greed.
And he knew better, too, starting up the back, knowing that there was a possibility of the dive. And again, it's allowed simply because they got the initial rotation on that tower, opened up space, zoned really hard for EasyHoon.
Yeah.
Sloppy.
And already Icon with a gigantic advantage there in that mid lane. 41 to 27 in the creep score. Thankfully for EasyHoon, it wasn't Icon that managed to pick up the kill. And EasyHoon was able to grab himself at least that Negatron cloak and stop her back here or there. We'll see whether things are going to mellow out.
Good news for Easyhoon here is that he does have the TP versus the cleanse. So by stopping that back, he is technically stronger right now than Azir, despite or other than level.
Yeah.
And likewise, hopefully he'll be able to shore up that CS discrepancy by utilizing the TP versus the cleanse, so more time spent in his lane.
Well, you can see OMG still moving around the map here, looking to try and take down this outer turret on the bottom side. This Cosmic Binding is going to help out. Boomerang, of course, flying through there at the same time, as there's a nice circle of frost. Comes down onto Icon.
Again, understanding that he has the initial back end, so trying to be confident with himself.
Oh, and Dandy's actually looking for a gank here in the mid lane as well. He is going to tunnel his way in as Icon just takes a Prey Seeker. No flash is going to be burnt there at all.
Well, Dandy needed to be very respectful, seeing that Azir was level 6. Doesn't have a ton of mana, but doesn't want to play with that Emperor's Divide at all, which means that Dandy will return to the top side of the map.
Yeah.
I was curious.
Yeah, Joy looking to try and create even more pressure here in the mid lane.
Easyhoon just being kind of very sloppy about his posturing in the lane, not standing on a strong side of the map, exposing himself to that initial tower dive. OMG have a faster turret clear and better gank, so it wins the mid lane as well as their Mountain Dragon.
Yeah, able to get Icon back here at the same time, still very far ahead in that farm. And when it's Mountain Dragon, this is a really big deal for OMG. Despite the fact that there is no difference as far as that gold is concerned, they're still going to be very happy with this scenario, as Ocean Dragon is going to be the next one coming up.
Well, also especially because we've had this gentleman's agreement to look into sieging towers. Typically now there's going to be a farm period where you're just allocating your top laners back up to speed, as well as your AD carries to their big item breakpoints. But with the Mountain Dragon, OMG have a lot more flexibility. You could look for an earlier Rift Herald, or even look to continue to siege in that mid lane should Icon get a big advantage over Easyhoon.
Well, so far it's building towards that. Almost does have a 20 CS lead. Easyhoon is going to make it back for most of these creeps, which is definitely a good news story. As he localizes that one. Oh, that's beautiful. Easyhoon, you're stunning to watch, my friend. Doesn't quite get that last one, but that one would have been impossible anyway, so never mind. Blue buff is going to get delivered, though. Dandy not too worried about having one of those. But there's a ward coming in. 5 wants to steal it, doesn't quite manage to get it. As Easyhoon, very patient, he's going to be able to lock that one down.
Gets his blue buff, but it does mean that OMG have moved their numbers advantage towards the top side of the map. So they should start pushing in and laying down triangle vision in RNG's blue side. Or excuse me, Vici's blue side.
Yeah.
It's not last series.
Endless now. Did grab that first blood, so heading gold by just a little bit. The SMLZ has been farming very nicely, despite his lane sort of being quite extended, which could be dangerous. But as far as what these teams want to be doing, Frostgren, I mean, what are the aims moving into the mid game?
Dandy has kill threat on Azir, or at least to force Icon to burn his cleanse. He was hanging around the mid lane, but Icon spotted him out with some vision and some good communication. So right now, Dandy's trying to prioritize Easyhoon, and OMG are continuing to try to siege. Again, they have a 6-minute window where they can play to the top side of the map because Dragon is not up and available. And so Dandy is now trying to be reactive to that. So it will be a 3v3.
Oh, 5 in a whole host of trouble. Gets knocked up so high, and Dandy is able to pick up the kill. SMLZ has on the hunt popped, but Endless is going to make his way around the side. There's the flash knock-up as SMLZ getting taken down incredibly low. Really quite late on the teleport, but they are going to blow it as SMLZ is going to get stunned up. Has to be cancelled as Xion can't find his way in, and Jue is going to fall as well. What a team fight there from Vici.
And immediately Vici collapse and get a really nice rotation. This is so...
What timing.
Just bizarre to watch. But we expect this from Dandy, and this is why it was so important that Dandy should be able to play Rek'Sai. He's a phenomenal control jungler, very cerebral, able to track the enemy jungler's movements and beat them to scenarios like this or show up just on time. So Vici kind of pigeonholing him into the likes of Kindred, Nidalee, and Graves. Yes, they're strong picks, but 2 of them are most often going to be banned out, and Graves has lost a lot of his kind of oomph in this meta.
Yeah, most certainly. Dandy actually on a dangerous mission right now, as he does manage to take the red buff. 5 doesn't get the Cosmic Binding. That's 4 people that Dandy was able to avoid.
Yeah, continue to facilitate himself. So now 2-0-1 has his Sight Zone available. So we'll be gathering that much more information for his team.
Yeah.
I feel like Dandy's just the puppet master. He just sits back, He collects all the information. He's like, yes, dance, my puppets, dance.
They're certainly working now. And look, his best puppet at the moment looks like Endless. 100% kill contribution there on the Ezreal. Things really working out for this AD carry that we haven't necessarily had a lot of good things to say about. Certainly do in this game.
He's been getting better. That is something that can factually be said about Endless, is that he is definitely on an upswing in performance.
Yeah. We can see EasyHoon trying to hold off the bottom lane. Have now entered the mid. Shoring up some of that CS gap there as well, which is quite nice, and already has himself 20% CDR. So probably feeling okay moving into this mid game.
OMG a little bit confused about where they want to be on the map. Dragon Timer is up and coming, so kind of consolidating the resources there. Should start moving down into that river with all members, but looking for some pressure on this mid tower beforehand. Dandy off to the side could be a possible flank, and this could be a fight.
Yeah, True Shot Barrage actually flying in here, gets across 4 people as EasyHoon is able to clear out that wave very easily. Not looking that breakable there in the mid lane so far.
And that's the issue. Lysandra, she may not be an S-tier mid laner like the likes of Azir or Victor, but she certainly has her place still on 6.10. Again, the ability to run double teleport quite freely. Nice wave clear, good initiation. Issue, she doesn't scale into late game as hard as other carries, but Vici typically win around the mid game anyway. They are one of the most oppressive teams when they have a lead.
Oh, most certainly is. 5 looking to take a magical journey, try and get out. Dandy not going to follow him through, doesn't want to get cosmically bound against a wall. But still keeping the pressure up here as Long actually on a bit of a Sivir hunt at the moment.
And both teams playing towards the top side of the map. Of course, OMG are responding to Vici's pressure from Long in that top lane, which he has opened up a sizable CS difference.
Well, there's the Emperor's Divide. Actually, EasyHoon gets delivered to a turret as the ultimate comes down. Immediate cleanse comes out as Dandy tasked with finishing him off, but he's not going to be able to. Takes a lot of damage there at the same time. As now Joey is going to make his way in. The cleanse was burnt, but it was traded for a flash from EasyHoon.
2-shot barrage is available, however. Endless could look for the snipe.
Well, there is going to be a ping there down towards the bottom side of the map. I think they're eyeing Endless for that maneuver, but Icon probably not in kill range anymore. Teleport's coming in, though. Icon could be in trouble. Brilliant Cosmic Binding is going to lock down the Hoon, as he came in with no health.
But this does mean that Vici will get the easy Ocean Dragon, simply because OMG tried to overstay their welcome, tried to force another engage, wanted something desperately out of that scuffle in the mid lane, sacrificed their back timings.
Yeah. Definitely good news. Ezreal going to make his way around there as well, so 4 people strong are going to be able to take this one down. So EasyHoon, now on low health, going to be feeling much better, and Dandy as well. Really feeling happy. Wow, we've got a pretty good triplet of dragons this time, as Infernal Drake is going to be our 3rd.
We also have a very early initial dragon taken, which means that we'll have at least 5 spawns of the dragons, which increases your chance of having all 3 to about 37 or 40%. So chances of having 3 Mountain Drakes, 3 Infernals, or 3 Oceans is actually quite high.
We'll see whether one of our teams will be able to get that one. OMG probably feeling good at the moment with their Mountain Drake.
I think it's about 37 on Mountain Drake, like 16 on Ocean Drake, and about 3 on Infernal, just based of where they spawned. Because Infernal's your 3rd one, and in the 5th, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I sort of get it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Probability and statistics was never really my strong suit.
No, here you go. Because Infernal Drake is the 3rd Drake coming up, and you'd have 2 more Drakes after that, the chance and probability of having 3 Infernal Drakes in this game is 2.7%.
Huh.
Nailed it.
It's a little bit sad. I quite like Infernal Drakes. 3 of them would be nice. Is Xiang in trouble here? Dandy looking for a knock-up. Doesn't quite find him. Of course, being underground. Sort of not helpful there, as Endless and Long are up here towards the top side.
Again, having this window, and this is why Vici are so oppressive when they are ahead, is because they actually are quite intelligent about where they need to be on the map and when. Playing to the correct objectives and pressuring all of their lanes.
Yeah, you see they're actually going to leave this wave for Icon to clear up himself. Not going to try and siege any mid lane turret against the Azir, which in my mind makes a bit of sense, as now Zhuezhui has to deal with Dandy. Cocoon not even going to be looked for right now, as he puts a Bramble back in the way. Dandy now zoning away. He's able to take away the red. Caveman going to get stunned up, uses that Unbreakable to lock down the Cosmic Binding.
Dandy just contesting that one every single time, then immediately rotates into the Rift Herald while Endless cleans up all of the farm in the side wave. So the big target there was targeting red buff. Again, the itemization isn't quite there for Vici yet. They actually want to continue to be in farm mode for the next maybe 3 to 5 minutes, or until Endless is comfortable, and then they'll turn on the siege. But so far, they've got massive waves that they're able to hold, which means OMG, again, are probably going to get desperate with their play around the map. They're either looking for a dive bottom or a dive mid, but the anti-dive potential in Lissandra and Echo, way too dangerous.
Yeah, just ridiculous. And the wave clear out of this, Lissandra also pretty fantastic, so OMG not with a whole lot of options. Echo as well, no slouch in the wave clear department, and is ahead by quite a long way, 24 CS. For the Echo over the Trundle.
And it's Vici just playing the map better. Even though it's a slower tempo and pace, they are in complete control. And just on time, here's the response. They know that this is OMG's only play available to the map, so just easily rotate everyone around, completely break down this play for OMG.
Yeah, they were already on their way there as well as Icon. Actually, a little bit late to the party. Going to be jumped on here by Dandy as there's the Emperor's Divide, but the Claw of Doom is going to get Easyhoon over the top. He's still looking for it. Cleanses available here from Icon as there's the Tempered Fate. Easyhoon gets turned golden. Does have the ultimate there as well as Xiong gets so much of his health back with that Subjugate. Easyhoon able to get himself to relative safety, and no one from Vici is dead just yet. Dandy very, very low, as well as Easyhoon, but he's got his teleport.
So technically it's a 4v5 because Endless is in the top side of the map. Ooh, maybe a re-engagement?
Yeah, 5 actually takes a whole host of damage here as Caveman's looking for the Winter's Bite. Doesn't get it, and Lung's actually able to save that turret.
Okay, so yes, Vici are better at playing the map. However, OMG are still a very scrappy, skirmish-based team, and they do have this, the priority there. They do manage to get a really nice reactive collapse after Icon is caught, but good consolidation from Vici. Great teamwork means that in the end, they'll actually pick up the objective.
Yeah, some interesting back timings once again. They aren't able to quite pick up this turret as SMLZ takes Q to the face, but is able to clear out this minion wave. Loses the majority of its health, by the way. And by the majority, I mean, you know, just over half.
But just the patience, again, to keep Endless into the top lane.
Yeah.
Only throws down the True Shot Barrage for the team fight. Getting this Ezreal and creeping him closer and closer to his big 2-item breakpoint.
Which is coming up very soon as well, you have to feel.
He's probably sitting on a lot of gold. He's had those 2 items for quite a while.
And you can see Endless now taking down some Raptors. Lissandra down towards the bottom side, now going to be heading back home. True Shot Barrage going to clear out a minion wave as far as picking up a bit of damage onto it. And Dandy is so tanky. Looking to go for that Titanic Hydra build as well by the looks of things.
You can have some fun with your mechanics with the Hydra.
Yeah.
As well as the, have you seen it, the triple auto attack?
Yeah, with the Q.
Yeah, it's cute.
Definitely able to take down wards in one fell swoop if that's the case.
I know a lot of professional junglers that I've had the opportunity to talk to really credit that build path as Rek'Sai kind of returning to form, not just on the Cinder Hulk, but the power that you get with that.
Well, speaking of power, Dandy is going to be starting off the enemy blue buff here. Icon is in position as SMLZ a little bit late on the spell shield means that his team takes a lot of damage, and Iceborne Gauntlet is now done for Endless. Vici probably looking for this fight as the Magical Journey is going to get 5 out of danger, or relatively. The blue buff was taken there from Dandy. True Shot Barrage is being looked for, but Endless doesn't quite have it available just yet.
And suddenly, Vici so keen to fight, setting up, contesting all of these buffs, and check out Ezreal's itemization. So again, they did a good job. They stalled out for that 4-minute window, got him to the breakpoint that they wanted, and now it's full steam ahead into siege mode.
Yeah, well, they are going to be able to grab this outer turret in the mid lane. Icon not quite able to clear out the minions in time, especially couldn't do it with everyone on Vici lurking. And now Dragon is going to be theirs for the taking. So Ocean and Infernal now looking to be in the hands of Vici.
TP is available, however, from Xiong. OMG could look to fight this, but they're walking in not blind. Never mind, there is a single ward.
In goes Lung. He's actually trying to look for the flank here as they are in relatively difficult position. Parallel Convergence could get the work done here as EasyHoon is going to get caught out of position. Knock up potentially there for Dandy as everyone makes their way in. Emperor's Divide, though, is going to get Lung out of there. Icon able to take down Caveman, but Endless doing some work there in the backline. Lots of damage now onto OMG as 5 has to get out. You can see EasyHoon able to close some distance, but he might be in trouble. Going to get cut down by SMLZ as now Vici able to grab Zhuizhui on the backside. Chrono Break is going to come out from Lung. Gets himself a shield, but he is going to fall as Endless needs to get himself out of there. Oh my god. Almost enough to take down 5. In the end, it is 2 for 3, 2 for 2. Okay, so relatively even trade.
And technically, Vici do pick up the dragon, so superior trade for them. The big difference there was the fact that Azir gets to split up a fight with his Emperor's Divide and his incredible long range, and Lissandra gets to split up a fight by putting her face into it. Unfortunately, when EasyHoon decided to pull the trigger and re-engage on the counter-engage, he immediately died, because he doesn't have his Frozen Tomb, because he doesn't have the Zhonya's Hourglass.
Didn't quite find it.
But if he had had that Hourglass, probably could have swung the fight back in favor for his team. So, right mentality,
800 gold. Just
not quite there yet.
It's a very good point. Deciding not to go for any sort of Rod of Ages build to put that Zhonya's Hourglass behind a little bit further. Of course, had to get the Abyssal Scepter.
See, I don't mind the build path on Lissandra. I really like her as a mid-game power spike champion. So we have another scuffle.
Yeah, there's the knock-up in the mid lane as Caveman may actually be in a whole host of trouble. 5 is going to be able to lock down that kill as now OMG continuing on to Dandy. He's taking a lot of damage as the repel is going to get Zhuizhui into the sky. Mystic Shot comes down. EasyHoon is finally here to try and help defend this turret. But OMG looking pretty unrelenting. It's a 2,000 gold lead for Vici, but taking this turret will definitely shore that up.
Vici really need to start respecting the power of Azir.
Yeah. Jiang actually is going to get caught out with the Frozen Tomb. Lots of damage comes down. Oh my god, so close. As the turret, enough room was created and they are able to take it down. So OMG answering back nicely. A little bit over 1,000 gold now.
Long is looking for the flank, but he will be spotted out by 2 pink wards. He actually finds that one and clears one of them out. But consistently, Vici are sacrificing damage on their turrets and positioning on their map to try to trade side waves or side inner turrets. Hasn't quite worked out for them. That top inner still hasn't fallen.
However, Long is really far ahead in farm. That is 30 CS the lead.
Doesn't necessarily mean anything, though, if you never get to use the power of your Echo, because A, the split push is never successful, or B, he's always late to team fights.
That's a good point. We'll see whether he can actually get his act together as far as that is concerned. Zhonya's Hourglass is now completed here for EasyHoon, so if you're talking about a 2-item spike, you're feeling good.
That's why I still like Lissandra, especially with Ezreal on a composition, just because they come into power at very similar time frames.
Yeah.
Does put a slight clock on Vici's comp, though, especially against the scaling power of Sivir and Azir. So Vici, they've got about 10-15 minutes, probably closer to about 10, before Azir and Sivir really start outscaling them in these 5v5s.
Oh my god, okay, so Vici have moved straight onto this Baron. It's actually taking a lot of damage. They're committing to it hard as well with the teleport coming in from Long. Already down to below half health. Looks like OMG have cottoned on as the ward goes in, but this is going down so low. Tempered Fate is going to come in there as Long starts up the battle. Icon in there. Does have the ultimate. Puts it right in the middle of this fight as Jiang right in the middle. It is going to be taken by Dandy as EasyHoon ults himself up and everyone's dying on OMG. 5 into the pit in a suicidal move. Vici grab themselves the Baron. SMLZ the only one standing. What a play.
What a massive mistake by Icon. You're playing Azir, man. You don't need to go into the pit.
This is what Icon does. He goes in, Frostgreen. And look, honestly, it looked flashy. Hit a lot of people. Probably did a lot of damage.
He's literally the Swift of the mid lane. Like, either it's going to win you the game or it'll completely throw the play. See, this is the problem. He puts himself in the Baron pit, so not only is he taking Baron damage, but he's also doesn't have his escape route, and he's stuck in there with all of Vici. That's one of those moments where I'm not stuck in here with you, you're stuck in here with me.
It looked like it was starting okay. But unfortunately just didn't work out and honestly colossally failed there for OMG.
But great job for Vici on a heads-up play to understand we're powerful now. Lissandra hit her spike. Ezreal's got a spike. That's Sivir. That's Azir. We need to siege and end this game now.
Yeah. Well, you can see Caveman there as well. Tanks up a fair bit of damage actually without taking too much. That Unbreakable being very useful. And this blue buff is going to go to Endless. Definitely 40% CDR now. As EasyHoon now pushing up with these minions. All Baroned up in purple. Towers falling everywhere as Vici are just putting pressure on everywhere as well. And look, this is what they were known for. This is what this team is very good at. And this lead is ballooned to 7,000, almost out of nowhere.
It needs to continue to balloon, though, if Vici aren't able to close this game out quick enough. Because, again, they need these gold deficits to compensate for their lackluster 5v5, especially in this composition. So I like their continued patience. I like their continued pressure. Hopefully, with this Baron, Vici fans will get a cracked inhib, because otherwise this game could still swing back for OMG.
Yeah, decent true shot barrage there for some poke damage as this inner turret is still taking some work. But Wave Clear is able to get in there. Static Shift thankfully built up by SMLZ, and he can help cut down those siege minions there as well with the boomerang. So holding for now. Still big lead available here for Icon as far as farm. Also has the kill lead on EasyHoon as well, as this red buff certainly belongs to Vici unless SMLZ can do anything. Oh my goodness, he can't. Long, he's so sticky as he manages to get the stun. No, not going to. His phase dive comes in. SMLZ's going to die. Gets himself out of there as well. Long with the chrono break to safety.
Feels like it's been forever since we've actually seen Long in one of these skirmishes, but sitting up in that top lane has certainly done wonders for him.
Yeah.
Like you said, 40 CS difference. He's got lots of items underneath his belt.
And now no Sivir for the wave clear.
Able to solo out quite freely, and likewise Azir now pushed off.
That is a big deal. These Mystic shots really starting to hurt. There's a build draw to Cutlass there for Endless at the same time. 6-0-4. This is honestly one of the best games for Endless I've ever seen. As Dandy looking for a flanking play, gets in behind the turret. Long going to be able to get some auto attacks in there. Tempered Fate onto 3 members and the turret, but Endless and EasyHoon is still able to get the poke damage in there. Dandy as well, able to get out just fine, burrowing under everything. So lead extends here for Vici. Dragon up, and it's a Mountain Drake looking to try and get the trifecta.
That said, OMG are collapsing down here, possibly looking to contest, although I think it'd be suicidal without Tempered Fate and going in blind.
And this Dragon is very, very low here as well, but they have managed to at least force them into the pit. Rek'Sai able to pick that one up. Frozen Tomb comes in, and everyone has a wave getting out.
So the confidence there is because Vici have taken down, I think, 3 turrets, and they haven't spent any of that global gold. So OMG felt that they were stronger right there simply because they had their shops in. And again, talking about small windows of opportunity, now Vici again, just that head and shoulders farther ahead.
Yeah, and that's actually a Hex Drinker done here for Endless, as well as that Blade of the Ruined King completed. The Ezreal is looking real scary. Another blasting one for EasyHoon, probably looking for, or could be a Void Star. That Trisha Barrage managed to hit 3 people on its scouting mission.
Fortunately, this also means that we won't get 3 type of the same dragon on one team.
Yeah. That's a little bit sad.
I know, I'm really choked up about it.
Yeah, got it. But Ezreal now moving towards the top side of the map. Long just going to be splitting on the bottom side. Standard Vici things, moving everyone around this map. 6.5 thousand gold. The power play for the Baron. Really nice stuff from Vici. And this is when the game was at about 2,000 gold, the difference. And that was honestly okay for OMG moving into the late game. But unfortunately, that was a big lead now gained for Vici. They're close to 10,000 gold in the lead. And they're starting to suffocate this OMG roster.
Need to close it out, though.
Yeah, true.
Continue to hold down the gas. They want to race across the finish line against the likes of OMG and their Azir Sivir composition.
They do have a lot of wave clear on the side of OMG, though. Readily available as well, not having to expend too much in order to get it out there. So, still will be a difficult task as Phase Dive is going to get Long a little bit of damage onto Xiong.
Good thing for them is the fact that Long is still very strong, and so he can absorb a lot of resources from OMG, hopefully drawing some of this wave clear away from the rest of the pack.
Yeah, not to mention the fact that EasyHoon has hit a really nice item spike in that Void Staff as well. As those other 2 items that was already augmenting his power with the defensive capabilities. So Long tries to keep the pressure up, but Vici looking like they can't quite break this base open just yet.
They have no answer for the Azir and the Sivir. Unfortunately, their only options are to actually dive the tower, which can be incredibly dangerous against the likes of Trundle, Azir, and Bard.
Yeah. It's almost like they have to wait for the Sivir Spell Shield to go down, Frozen Tomb her somehow,
It's more crucial for them right now to secure a second Baron and hopefully daisy chain those two together for victory. They did wonders with the first one, so opening up another 6.5k lead with the second one should be beneficial. Does mean that OMG, they get one final team fight, one final play to get their foot back into the game.
But Vici, aware of this clock, is going to be Dandy making his way towards the top side of his jungle. Spirit Visage now completed for the Rek'Sai. She is looking pretty good at this point. Does need to build up a little bit more armor. That little cloth shirt, probably not quite enough. But it is Locket of the Iron Slurry done here for Caveman. And Vici with a lot of control. Endless is going to be able to find... Oh, Zhuizhui in a whole host of trouble. Isn't going to use the Repel just yet as 5 magically journeys his way out. And Vici don't get the pick they were looking for.
That is going to be two TPs expended to try to set that play up for them, which means that it's more pressure for them to start the Baron to commit on it since Xiong has the Summoner spell advantage. Excuse me, he's burning it now.
Yeah, looking for it. He's going to find his way towards the bottom of this Baron pit, but you can see it's already going very, very low. They do have the Tempered Fate available. 5 will need to get some sweet moves happening here as the Parallel Convergence comes in. There's the Tempered Fate. Easyhoon is going to find Zhuizhui, so no smite in this fight as the Emperor's Divide does fly through. Long is able to get down there. The Baron falls to the favor of Dandy. There's Xiong in trouble. Everyone on OMG is melting as Vici, just with better target selection. Honestly, Endless is so huge in this fight as Easyhoon able to lock down SMLZ, and 5 running for the hills. Icon already backing, just knows that there's nothing he can do in this fight as Dandy continues to run after him. Nice slow comes in from the Chilling Smite as he's going to take a magical journey, get bound against the wall, as you generally do after that happens. And 5's going to continue running, taking the Rek'Sai with him. Thankfully, the rest of Vici are pushing up the mid lane.
Yeah, so meanwhile, good target selection from Easyhoon by picking out Zhuizhui on the back part of that fight means that Dandy gets to pick up the free Baron, and from there, the gold discrepancy speaks for itself. Vici ran over OMG in the early game, and it snowballed them to this power in the mid game.
Yeah, launched their way in as there's the tunnel. 5 is going to fall down eventually. Dandy, I mean, it took you an entire map to run around, but you still managed to lock down the kill. That is definitely a big deal, and they get the inhibitor.
And the biggest issue is just how far behind the clock OMG are in terms of their itemization. You check out Sivir, 32 minutes, doesn't have anywhere near to that Infinity Edge. I think she's sitting on the BF sword. And it's just your big power break points that are missing.
And of course, look at Icon, only able to do 800 damage. Got his Emperor's Divide off in that fight, but just could not stay in there, because Vici were just all over it. Yeah, that Cloak of Agility now done as well for SMLZ, but I mean, he's still about 1,700 gold away from that Infinity Edge. Might be too little too late there as well, because Endless, he only needs to finish what could be a Mortal Reminder or a Lord Dominic's Regard, and he's done. That's his build.
It's the difference between 2 items completed versus 5 items completed.
Yeah, exactly. Very, very scary here as Endless looking to pop over, grab himself the last remaining dragon, which will be that Mountain Drake. The second for Vici. OMG, of course, managed to get the first one, and it was a mountain. But making that siege even easier. We'll see whether they can actually utilize it while this Baron is still on. That's 4 dragons. They're really powerful right now on the side of Vici.
Yeah, especially with 2 Mountain Drakes, 20% bonus damage to structures.
Spell shield down. OMG are standing strong, though.
Rek'Sai is being utilized in the top lane to apply cross-map pressure simply because both teleports are down, but Rek'Sai's ultimate on Void Rush is up, so technically getting that semi-global presence.
And does a lot of damage to turrets here as well, due to the fact that he does have that Titanic Hydra. Now going to get a ward down. Dandy just headbutting the heck out of that turret. Look at it go down. Tempered Fate is going to find Easyhoon one more time. He's happy to go gold, though. That's sort of part of his plan as long. Right underneath this turret, this tower is going down very low as Endless is going to focus on it. Easyhoon still not having to go in just yet as SMLZ does use the spell shield, blocks the True Shot Barrage, which is pretty nice. But base broken everywhere here as Vici get themselves into position. Easyhoon, massive ultimate under 5 as he does have to use his... Oh, okay, just not going to use the Zhonya's as long right up amongst it. Zhuizhui manages to make it onto the fountain here as Braum picks up the kill under Xiong, who is right in the front line. It's a 1-for-1 trade so far, but they've broken the base wide open on the side of Vici. It's a Nexus turret falling down as well. Vici looking very good.
Every single inhibitor is either down or exposed. Vici still technically have some time left on their Baron as it finally falls off.
Yep, there it is.
Unfortunately, they weren't able to end the game on the second Baron.
However, 16,000 gold is probably enough of a buffer to get themselves into their base, especially considering the fact that they now don't really need to siege. They can just get rid of all of the inhibitors and let the minions help them out. That's 6 items for long as he finishes the Magi's at the same time.
While I agree with your assessment that 1,600 gold is probably enough for them, I think the more important thing is that Endless is actually performing for them.
Right? What is going on for Oscarin?
He does have a lot of help facilitating his play, but
hey, that was a you know, the Q play at the beginning. That was pretty smooth as long. They actually need to utilize his Guardian Angel right here. Actually doesn't so far as Parallel Convergence does come down. EasyHoon tries to find his way in. Xiang actually going to get caught out. Tempered Fate is going to save him for now as SMLZ goes down very low, but EasyHoon has already died. Endless kiting this fight around. Xiang can't quite enter as, oh my goodness, uses his E in order to get out of the way of the Emperor's Divide, and Icon is going to die for it. Really beautiful play here out of Endless so far, and the inhibitor is going to fall down. They sacrifice only EasyHoon, but they get both carries for OMG.
Vici looking so much more confident, particularly on the back of their AD carry. Yes, everything was set up for him, but Endless finally executing on the tools that Vici have given him the entire time.
Yeah, Nexus is now falling down. It's below half health as Endless just needs to get some Sheen procs and he'll finish it off. What a game for the AD carry of Vici. And look, we've heard Clearlove say it before. I mean, why was Firelolly playing for EDG? It was so that they could motivate Clearlove. Well, looks like Xuan really motivated Endless because that guy looks like he's out proven something today.
And likewise, on the other side, OMG look like a broken team. They just keep subbing in all of these options, but they can't find the winning formula.
Yeah, just can't quite make it work. There were, again, glimmers of hope for this team. The first gank onto EasyHoon early on did look good. I mean, Shuizhui was making his way around the rift, looking pretty strong. But Icon, some more interesting plays there on the Azir. Honestly, looked flashy, but just didn't quite get the work done. And Vici's target selection in these fights looked fantastic.
And initially, OMG even did better in the lane swap.
Yeah.
Putting EasyHoon down, getting Icon that initial lead, it was just kind of, once the map opened up and the initial towers fell, OMG had no idea where they needed to be on the map, and Vici did. And yes, it was a slower pace kind of back half of the early game before we came into the mid game where Ezreal and Lissandra completed their items, but it was completely controlled by Vici, saying we know exactly where you have to go, OMG, and we're going to meet you at every step.
Yeah, and I mean, that last teamfight that we just witnessed, EasyHoon didn't even use his ultimate.
It
was available the entire time.
Oh, you're talking about this one?
No, the one prior.
I was going to say, on this one, I believe he killed
He did.
The spider.
But, I mean, I'm just saying that this wasn't necessarily EasyHoon's best game. He's normally relied upon to carry these ones, and Endless really stepping up.
Yeah, that's the cool thing is it's so important for Vici fans is that they have another carry. Endless actually stepped up to the plate and did it.
Not to mention Lung clearly winning his lane at the same time. Xiang has had good performances, but man, I mean, you just saw it there on your screen. Lung's Echo looking very, very strong.
It's just this
not quite finding it.
Brilliant moment of Vici. They sacrificed their initial wave control to OMG, but when the bounce came back and they got 2 deep freezes on either side, and they just had so much anti-dive in the Echo as well as the Lissandra, it meant that OMG had to go bottom. And I just loved it. Vici were like, we know you have to go here, and you're going to get denied anyway, which means that all of that momentum that you had for the first, 7 minutes of this game, completely dead for the next 10 minutes.
Yeah, just utilized it fantastically. So congratulations to Vici. They were able to take game number 1, but there is still at least one more